Hi everybody, welcome to this video tutorial. Today we're going to look at a concept that any serious computer scientist should be familiar with. That's how to calculate the value in the Fibonacci series at a given position. Okay, so in the Fibonacci series, the first value is 0. We don't need to do any calculating for that. The second value is 1. We don't need to do any calculating for that. And the third value is the sum of the first and second values. Okay? So when n is 3, we simply add these two values together, and that is the value at position 3. Now, if we want to find the value at position 4, we need to update our first and second values. Okay, so I'm just going to do that graphically as quickly as I can. When we're looking at position 4, we need to add these two values together. So you can see that the new first value is the old second value from when we were calculating the third position. This is now the first value, and the second value is the current total. And using these two values, we can create the new total. Okay? Now when n is 5, let's just update the graphic. We need to update the first and second values. Okay? We're going to add these two values together. As you can see, the first value is the old second value, and the second value is the current total. And if we add those together to get our new total, we can find the value at position 5, which is 3. Let's just do this one more time. We're going to calculate the value at position 6. Notice we're in a loop now. My program that I'm thinking about starts at 3 and generates these totals and updates the first and the second to achieve the result that we're looking for. So if we're looking for position 6, let's just update our first and second. Okay. We can see the first value is the previous second, the old second. The second value is our current total, and our new total is 5. And hey presto, that is the value at position 6. Okay? So take a moment to think about what we've just done there. Remember a few points. If n is 1, we're just going to determine the Fibonacci value is 0. If n is 2, we're going to determine that the Fibonacci value is 1. We don't need to do any calculating. If n is 3, this is our starting point for calculations. We need to do a bit of calculating. If n is 7, well, we're going to start at 3, and we're going to create a loop which will update these three values until we get to 7. Notice what I've just done there. I'm not going to explain it. Think about what we did before and how I achieved that result. Okay? So we start at 3 and we loop our way all the way to 7, updating total first and second as we go. Okay? So let's look at how to do this in a Java function. Okay, what I'm going to do is design a function that will return the value at a given position. Now we know that if the position number is 1, we're going to be returning 0. We know that. Else, if the position number is 2, we're going to be returning 1. Right? If If the position is 1, we return 0. If the position is 2, we're returning 1. If the position is 3, that's when we start our calculations. So what we need to do is set up I'm going to set an integer called first, and I'm going to give it a starter value of 0. I'm going to set up an integer called second, and I'm going to give it a starter value of 1. That was the starter value. And I'm going to create an integer to store the total. And I'm just going to initialize that to 0. Now I'm going to start my loop. Remember, we're starting at 3 and we're going up to whatever n is. Less than or equal to n, because we want to go all the way up to it. Now the first thing we want to do is update the total. Oops, total equals first plus second. The next thing we want to do is update first. Remember, first takes the value of second. And then we want to update second. Second takes whatever the total is. Now that little loop is going to do exactly what I demonstrated here. Okay, we're just updating total first and second as we go, and eventually we should achieve the final total, which is what we want the function to return. Okay, and it's giving me some hassle because total cannot be resolved into a variable. I've made total. I don't want to do it there, do I? I want to do it when the for loop is finished. That's when I want to return the total. Okay. I don't have any obvious errors there. Let's test it out. I'm going to call let's call Fibo 8. Now remember, this returns a value. So what we could do is grab the value and then display the value. The value at position what should I do? I'll tell you what, let's just keep it very simple and let's just print the result. Okay, let's just do that. Okay, let's see if it works. Whoa! Apparently it's 13. Let's just go and check. Position 8 is 13. Let's do position 10. $34. It seems to work. Take a bit of time to think about how we can determine the value in the Fibonacci series at a given position using a computer program.